The Hebrew text in the Bible has hidden formats. By revealing these formats, I will prove the first writer's words were hidden from you. These formats look like poetry as I group them into small paragraphs. Their grouping will become known as a psalm, and together they become psalms. Let me show you our Creator's 12 commandments, listed in Exodus chapter 20, verses 1 through 17. Any father of a family or his wife who did not obey any one of these 12 commandments, our Creator demanded they bring him a sin offering. Thus, our Creator defined the word sin as not obeying any one of these 12 commandments. Next, I want to show you how I changed one word in Exodus 26, verse 26, the word bars to arches, and the words now reveal the style of the roof for our Creator's tent for meeting with Him. Let me show you the translator's words from the preface of the 1611 King James Bible. They gave 4 reasons for themselves or others to edit the Bible's words. The red arrow at the top points to their 3rd reason to edit the text. By the light and feeling we attained unto ourselves. The next red arrow down points to them giving the title, the Divine, to a clerk named Gregory. The next block of words, they point out they were happy that the first emperor of Rome established the year to the course of the sun. Behind this text means Nebuchadnezzar ordered his kingdom to follow our Creator's calendar when he stopped eating grass. Did you notice the letter S in sun is capitalized? This is to give respect to the Egyptian sun god Ra. Have you seen the Egyptian obelisk in the Vatican's front yard? The last arrow points to your reward for studying the Bible. Your reward is to have a fellowship with the saints and participation of a heavenly nature that will never fade away. There is no such thing as nature to a truthful Christian. Our Creator created everything. By their own words, they were not seeking to know our Creator or Jesus. Not everyone has the knowledge to correct every word. I have an old Bible program that has the New American Standard Bible 1977 concordance to help find a better word. Their concordance has the number of times they use that English word in a parenthesis for that Hebrew word. The translators removed his name, YHVH, to put in 2 titles, Lord and God. I replaced those titles using the letters Y and V as his name. For the Hebrew language does not have a J, O, or W. By using these 2 letters, I am closer to the truth than anyone using J, O, or W for his name. So why is there a single letter O in the Hebrew text 1,095 times? No proper English was used? The blue highlighted text is text that I am removing. The red highlighted words are little words that I'm adding. Gray italic words are words that I added. To respect and honor our Creator, all capital letters in purple are our Creator's words. This is Jesus' prophecy, for I am revealing the first writer's words to tell you the true truths about Jesus. As the text is revealed, you can taste the writer's style of wording. Their words will take your belief to trusting our Creator. You will be watching prophecy before your eyes as I edit true truths back into their psalms. Okay, this is going to be Zechariah 6, but the only thing is I've kind of reread it, or I've read it already, and it seems to have a conflict. And let me show you what I mean by showing you the text that I've already done here. Where's chapter 1? Okay. This is kind of the main format that I've been finding. It's a 3-verse format with the first sentence being a statement. And then these 2 here connect together to reinforce the statement. And then that makes a small paragraph, and that makes a small paragraph. And the 2 of them together make a larger paragraph. So you'll see me putting this extra space in, and you can see it doing it again. And as I go down here, I think it was chapter 3. Okay, no. Chapter 3 was he was rejecting Satan. Um, 4 was a couple pieces. Okay, now this is where I'm. Okay, Zerubbabel. It seems that he will rebuild the house for meeting with me. And I hinted at that time that this is most likely going to be Daniel. Um, but then this was going to be the curse that was going to be on the land, and we're at 6. But when we go back to 6, I'm going to edit it, but I'm thinking it's not going to end up in a good situation. I lifted my eye. Now I lifted, and this is better off being said raised. Not lifted, but raised. Raised my head. And this is what I do when I want to add or change a word that I figure is within the shadow of that word. Um, but if it gets too far away, I make them gray. I raised my head. And so I don't need the word now. I raised my head, and again, and when I'm adding just a common word, I put it in red and italicize it. So later, when you see the text cleaned up, I've added that. Blue, you can tell I'm getting rid of that text. Fuchsia colored words, those are words that were found or that were added in 1977. I'm using the New American Standard 1977 Bible because I have a concordance that goes with the text. And that concordance is dangerous because that's why they don't allow you to see that anymore. So let me show you the concordance. What I can do is I can click on a word, let's say like coming forth, and what it shows is we have 2 Hebrew words together, and then down here that tells you how many times they use that word to the right or to the left. They use that 14 times. So when they have 2 words together, it was bring forth is what they've done, or bring out, bring up, bring out, bring forth. And we found the bring forth. No, we got coming forth. So got to get to the C's. Still got to go down a little bit. But the object is coming down here, and you'll see words that just don't seem to want to fit all the time, as you would know that they'd have another Hebrew word for, such as like exiled, expression. Even though they're only using it once, they're being very free with the text and not telling you that it is not the original Hebrew word, and they use that word to fill that sentence in. I've got many examples, say like the word dove is used as a pigeon or a dove, but I think it's 4 times used as a man's name. So I've got probably about 10 of them like that, I think. Okay. Again, I look. Just a second here. Okay, I guess sorry about that, but somebody's trying to use my credit card, and they've been really trying to hammer to get through it. Um, okay, I raised my head, and again I looked. Again, I want to put the word saw here. I looked. I guess if I add the word and here, I looked, and 4 chariots were coming forth. Okay, now that's usually, now this I've got like a comma and a period and a comma and a period. That's usually a 4-verse grouping. Between the two mountains, and the mountains were bronze mountains. I think they're trying to stick this in because that doesn't, okay. The first chariot has, I'm going to put the word has, get rid of this word, adding this word. The first chariot, comma, has red horses. The second chariot has black horses. Third chariot has white horses. And now I can do the same thing with a comma, period, comma, period. But I'm seeing this is going to be grouped together as 4. So I've got to come back here and say what's missing here is actually they're trying to put in with this. Looks like they took it out and put these in here. And 4 chariots were coming forth from between two, I'm going to use this one down here. Oops. From between 2, although I guess I can't. I use mountains of bronze. Between 2 mountains that were bronze. That are bronze. But that's only part of it. So it means that I've got to add a verse like this with a comma and step down here with a period. And now it meets the format. How come what happened to this? Oh, okay. Now I've got two verses looking together, and then these two here. Okay. Then I asked, now I know the word then hasn't been working out here in this. So then is, yeah, it's not here. So I don't like using that unless I want to put it in italic like I asked. I asked his angel. And you can see I don't need this. What is, I would say, what is this about? Not what are these? You know what they are. What is this about? What is it about? What are they about? And that would be a question mark. But this, can't use this, but I have to add this. What are they about? And now he says, and I'm going to put it, whoops, because I was thinking maybe I don't need this. I could maybe use like he answered. See, that's what I was thinking, that if I put this up here and then just say he answered, and that way it's keeping to the format. And I've noted by making them green, anything he is speaking, angels speak, are in green. These, comma, are those four spirits of heaven. When heaven is mentioned like this, it means where the birds fly, okay? So this has to be the four winds. Because you would not know about that if it was here. So you have to ask the question, what are they about? Now we have that they're winds. They are the four winds. But that is not making any sense. Oh, that's why it's not. I needed two up there. So that would be right then. This would be here. And this was making it a four verse group here. the four winds going forth, comma, after standing, period, before, don't need the word the, Lord of all earth. That's our creator, though. So why am I not using his name? But that does now bring a suspicion as to knowing that these four winds don't come from our creator. I mean, our creator is usually known as in heaven, which is above the North Star. And the movement of the stars make a mountain. This Mount Zion is the second heaven, and above there is where our creator lives in heaven, the way they understand it, because they were ascending and descending, or he was ascending and descending from there. So this has to be before YV. All would have to be everyone. And it's got to be on earth. But it does look like it's going to be a title Lord. That's just odd. Okay. Before. That's odd calling our creator the Lord like that. And I do know the text really well. So it is usually the Lord is like the guider over the nation. Consider like a lord over a large estate, having many people work for him. He is the caretaker and provider for all of them. So before the Lord of everyone on earth. That was the Hebrew word for Lord I just took out. So you were wondering what it was? Okay, that's two. That's two. Then this has to be two here. Now this is the black horses. So it's the second chariot. With one, this has to be meaning chariot. Chariot with the black horses. Right? It has to be the second chariot with black horses. They took out one, they used one as a group, but to make it fit the format, this has to be the second chariot with black horses. Are going forth to the north country. Okay. That makes sense. The white ones, the third chariot, the third chariot with white horses. Okay. Fourth chariot I don't know what's going on here. It's kind of confusing because it told this here and the second one. So where's the third one going? Where's this fourth all of a sudden? The fourth had that's going to be a period. To the south country. Whoops. I'm going to need that back. Okay, but that's that one. We've got north and we've got south. And I guess they aren't really countries. So Northland. To the It's got to be the east. The second chariot going north. So the first chariot's got to go east, north, west, south. I guess that's what I'm going to have to do. West. And we don't have the first group. Well, we pretty much know what it is. So it's the first chariot with red horses. East. And I'm going to change not the word country to land. Although kingdoms, North Kingdoms. Yeah, let me try kingdoms. That's better. Because they just wouldn't be going to the land itself. They're going to go into the kingdoms. Okay. Now, this should be grouped together because those are grouped together. That would be the space. There should be two of these. And then this. Okay, now that looks like we got a good start. Okay. And they're just going to go patrol the earth. Well, that's odd because there's nothing here. When the horses went out, it's not the ones. When the chariots went out, when the chariots went out, because if they got horses in front, you can't just have the strong ones. You got to say that when the chariots Um, if I say went out, it's really when they left here, left in his vision. This almost reads like as if this is the second one. They were eager to go, period. And this is like this. The chariots left, because we don't need that then. The chariots left. Let me grab the word in and up here. And bring it back here. We're eager to go to patrol the earth. Then we don't need them restating the fact. If I put and here, okay, big deal. Okay. They went out patrolling the earth. Now, what's so great about that? I don't get it. That's such a great format. It's a 4-verse. It's connecting together. I mean, besides these two here, which is probably what's we're missing, because between the two mountains are bronze. This now does not make sense. Saying, see, those who are going to the Northland have appeased my wrath in the Northland. That's just gibberish. All that work for nothing. I was getting suspicious of that, but or when I read it to begin with, but that's what happens. So now maybe the story will continue down later. The words of Wyvie came to me saying, words from Wyvie. Let's be truthful about it. From Wyvie. Don't need this. And because they're coming from our creator, give a little respect. Came to me saying, take an offering from the exiles. Now, they haven't established Jerusalem yet. They haven't made the altars yet. The text that I've got, let me go down here and read all the cleaned up text that I've got again, because this is saying this this is when the king came out and said, okay, Zechariah, his prophet, saying, his prophet, he said, our captives will return and rebuild my house. See, that's the thing. It's all in shambles down there. And then in the second, or the couple months later, 3 months later, he's got these horses here again to patrol the land. And it was peaceful and quiet, meaning that Israel, the land Israel, was not being attacked or anything, but the land, because our Creator had prophesied that it will be left for a remnant, and it will be like people just passing by and not really paying attention to it. So, and then it's going to be in 70 years, it's going to be rebuilt. Okay, Jerusalem and the city. So they've got to build his house first and then build Jerusalem and the city. So this text, yeah, because here it's going to be built without walls. Okay. So, and then Yah, who is Jesus, will come and live with them. Okay. And this is where he's talking about rejecting Satan and accepting Yah. This here text is telling me that he woke up and he sees this lamp. And this didn't go anywhere because I didn't know what to do with these words here, but that stopped and the subject changed. And this is now saying he will rebuild it. And I believe this is Daniel. And he will rebuild the house. See, here now we have the house for meeting with him is going to be. And it's not going to be by his own might or his own power, but by our Creator's will that the house is going to be built again. And then this is a curse on both sides, and it's talking about the female goddess that they had went on to, that's why he sent them out. So, but that's where that text ends. But it hasn't been built. So how can they take an offering from the exiles? This has got to be wrong. Take from the exiles these three men. These are sounding like they're tribes. I've got to take a look to see if these are like people's lineages here. And, oops. The lineage. Okay. Same as two Israels. What the heck? This is Yah is my good. Three Israels. Okay, I can't remember seeing that. Let me take a screenshot of that. I wanted to, that is, because I'm going to go over the text again, but I am rebuilding everything because this is the last time I'm going to be editing over all the years. But this here and this here guy, and again, that's just weird. The name of several Israelis. Okay, now that's not good. Okay, let me get you back over here. Take from the exiles, meaning those that are returning. Take from the exiles, take from the captives, the ones that are returning. That's a better word than exiles, because they're being released. Okay, so, but this is starting to build up to be a 3 or 4 verse again, because this is now like this, and it's not a statement. And then I can only have 2 chosen here. One of these got to go. And I'm going to get rid of this one. And I got to remember that, because this guy is going to be supposed to be a good guy, so I got to give him a capital letter and him a capital letter. Doesn't say how many to take, and they put a 3rd one in. I don't need this on the end of that. And G-Day. Okay, because I'm the editor. I get to cut them down, so don't have to remember all that extra. Okay, so that would be a period then. Now, let me save that. But this is a separate story. So I've got to separate it. And go the same day and enter the house of Joseph, the son of Zephaniah, where they have arrived from Babylon. Take silver and gold, make a crown, set it on the head. You can't do that. They're still under the leadership of Babylon. Babylon, I believe it was the guy that after Nebuchadnezzar died, because his son died as well, because that was the one the handwriting was on the wall, because they ate with our Creator's utensils. So he was going to die. So the other guy that watched Nebuchadnezzar eat grass for 7 years had to be somebody of importance to hide that from everybody. And then he is now the king, and I think they try to have Daniel killed, and he's thrown in the lion pit. But when he comes out, the king was glad that he didn't get to, the lions didn't eat him. And then I'm thinking that king said, that's another act that, hey, you're going to rebuild the house for our Creator first. That's why I was thinking that guy's name up there was in one of the groups there, Zechariah, whatever, was Daniel. It's going to be sent. So you can't take a crown and put on a person's head, because that's saying he's a king, and they aren't. So this absolutely is a lie. That's deceivement. You got to remember the guys that are editing this text and put it into English. This is the 1611 preface, and a great clerk, Gregory the Divine, with a capital D, with the capital S on sun, as giving the respect to the sun god Ra, and they are happy that the Roman emperor changed the calendar of the course to the sun. But that means when Nebuchadnezzar woke up, he assigned our Creator's calendar to Babylon. So, but until Rome come along, they changed it. So the guys that, when you actually study 1611 preface in their words, there's a bunch of crap in there. I mean, not only did you see the capital letter on S for sun, They also say the Son of Righteousness, spelled with a capital S-U-N, again, Son of Righteousness. So they aren't the good guys editing here. So, and the text has been corrupt from the manuscripts to begin with. On the same day, take from the captives. I don't need the word from. These and this guy. Now let's see. How is it's got to come up with a 4-verse. And go, I can say that day that you're picking them. So I can get rid of same here and go. I don't think I need the word the here. No, this is going to be a comma. And go that day into now this would be, it's a sneaky way of not using that word here. Although I could bring that back up and just say I used it from here. Into the house or home. A house I'm using as like a larger estate. I'm trying to make sure when you read the words that a home is a lot smaller than having multiple people under your household where you have servants and maids. You got your own shepherds or herders. Herders, that would be both flocks that you got. For, not of. Josiah. Now. Okay. A son from and don't need this, but I do need to put a comma here first. As they arrived from Babylon. This verse needs to be up here. No. This verse needs to be after this one here. Go on that day. They arrived from Babylon. Yes, I think that needs to be moved. Because other than that, it's reading way out of order. But this would be a comma, and that goes with this pretty well as connecting together to make a long sentence. So move. What happened? Something happened here. Maybe it was me. It should be blue text. Yep. Move up 2 verses. And this now can be an 8-point this can get lined up, moved here. Now, and go on that day, they arrive from Babylon. And I can say to the home for Josiah. Okay. Now that makes sense that he's going to take 2 captives, these 2 guys. No, this needs to be above that. And I need the word as put here. So this needs to be like that. Take from the captives. So they arrive from Babylon and go that day. I think it reads better that way. Okay. That's the best I can do for that, to clean that up, to read not really great that way, but at least it's connecting. Okay. So now I need a double space here because 1 paragraph, 2 paragraphs make a larger paragraph. And now the subject is set ahead on Joseph. They haven't been assigned high priest yet. Maybe this text is so out of order that they've already done something like this already. What about giving them the silver and gold that they're coming with? Now, he can't branch out from where he's at to rebuild the temple. The temple is a place where you put a pagan idol. So this would be the house. He is to rebuild the house. It would be for me, if this is our Creator still speaking, up here. Let me just start putting in what I know is the truth. And this I'm going to put here as well. Take the silver and gold, take the silver and the gold to rebuild. I think I've got to do that. Take the silver and the gold to rebuild. Now this I'm adding, this is pretty much I'm adding, but that at least makes some sense here, because you can't make an ornament crown, you can't put a crown on them. The priests did not wear a crown. The priest, our Creator didn't like them having head covers. They didn't like women having head covers. They all had, they were supposed to live in the same hide clothing all the way from at least Noah's time. And that's why you would recognize them as Hebrews, all having the same dress. And that would have been white hides from rams or goats. And so what if this is not make? Let me get rid of this. And this is assigning the high priest. And it's got to be the highest priest. And I'm going to use higher priests for the lesser of them, because there's going to be all kinds of priests in every city later. So I got to put that in now. Because there's no oil. There's no oil yet made. The oil that they usually use for anointing a priest is on the table that has the two golden bowls that hold the wheat, and then the gold or the golden pitcher has oil which fills up the lamps on the lampstand to give light to his meeting room. And that oil is used to pour on the head of all the priests and every priest that goes into work inside. And it's usually a priest and two attendants. So the thing here is make, I'm going to use this word, and do this, and we now have a high priest, which would be good. Because if Daniel comes, Daniel's the one that's bringing everything down. And so, who is this? Who is this guy? That's Zechariah, and he's living in the land, and he's the prophet at that time. He would be the prophet taken over from Jeremiah. Just to fill you in the order of the prophets. He would have took over for Jeremiah in the land of the remnant, I would say, is what it would have been called. Okay, take silver and gold to rebuild, and take, I'm going to say not there, silver and gold, it's the silver and gold to rebuild and make, oh man, was that a lot of digging? But that's what's fun about finding a format that's been corrupt for 2,400 years. Yeah, 2,400 years, easily. So now it comes to this here. Hey, I don't have, now what's going on with that? I just got to flash all kinds of things. What's happening? It says excellent condition. It's buffering in there. It's not receiving enough video. And then but the buffers, just a second, got to work on this. Stream output. Okay. Let me bump it up to 6,000 then. And I don't think I'm getting rid of that error sign. We'll see. Sometimes I tell you, if I stream at 5,000, I got to slow it down. I go to 45, runs fine. Started this off at 45, and now I get an error after what? An hour? That all of a sudden I have to get something else, different speed, faster speed. Oh, it's not as easy to think. Okay. No, and once you make him a high priest, he doesn't need to be here. He's not going to branch out. Then say this guy's name. This, not us, this. Was commanded by YV. Can't just have our creator talking when he's telling him exactly what he wants to do. This is not a prophecy. This is actually setting up the house. this, behold, whose name is Branch. That's just a lie. Branch out from where he is. If he's the high priest, who is he? I'm going to leave that a blank because I got to find it in the text that I've already done. So, and he will rebuild the house for Wyvie. Okay, now it makes sense that thus was said, and he's embellishing a little bit, not using the word say me, but Wyvie. Then say to Joshua, this was commanded by Wyvie, and he will rebuild the house. Okay, if it's a command from our Creator, okay, gotta have that. And then that'll be easy enough to find. Now I've got two here. I need a second one here. This is, don't need a double of what's being said. This is not true. This is not true. He will bear the honor and sit and rule on his throne. This, they aren't setting up Jerusalem. They are not, they're setting up they aren't setting up their kingdom, okay? That will be wrong. That's wrong. That's wrong. Now the crown will become a reminder. And I got rid of this guy. Got rid of this. This guy. And this guy are the two good guys. The hen. Well, I must have did some wrong editing there when I was breaking the text down. 14. Favor. The contemporary. Okay, now this is telling me, again, this is from Daniel. I'm not getting, if I put Daniel here, this is wrong. So, because we know who Daniel is, and it would be with and if I spell out that Zubaru here, Zerubbabel. Oops, got that letter wrong. What is that? DB. Okay. as what do we make them as right now? Captain, um, judge, governor. Um, this is wrong. Okay. And this would have to be in those who were captives and who were far off will come and rebuild. Period. And they know what they're to rebuild. They were sent. Okay, because there would have been many coming down from Babylon now. And they were to start rebuilding and set up their families, their places where they lived. And then because it's not really a great big area, they could have traveled 20 miles back and forth to the family. That's not too far. 10-mile walk, and for them is not much. They could be buying animals, horses, donkeys from the travelers. I'm just trying to put something in my mind how they can all be there and still go back to their families to rebuild and rotate. Yeah, because they all can't do it at one time, so they have to take shifts, but they're going to be assigned to come down and work. So, and assign I think that makes more of a truthful statement. And assign the captives to come and rebuild. That I'm liking now. Okay, now I'm thinking, okay, I didn't freeze up over there yet on YouTube, or not on YouTube. And this, don't need that. Now that is the end of this, and it's a two-piece here. We've got that crazy part that we don't know what the text is there, but it's got a good format. But I'm thinking it's going to be out. So, but you never know. I found text definitely a chapter away before, and it lined up perfectly. Like I just picked back up. Okay. You want to go this far? No, how come it? Yeah, it's reading pretty good. But this here, I've got to go up here. Anything that doesn't have a line in, I think it. I've been trying to figure out how my macro is working and what's stopping it from use. Like right there. See how it got all rid of all the color? That's good. Before, when I grab it, it doesn't work that way. So I think I finally figured that out. See, now something here, it didn't. And this one goes here. I raised my head, and again I looked, and 4 chariots were coming forth. And between 2 mountains that were bronze, the first chariot I'm trying to think of what's the missing words here, and it didn't come to me there either. So, so that should be 2 of them. It looks good though. I got all the right answers. All I can think of is that they were there to patrol not the earth, but his house in all 4 directions. Okay, but okay. That cleaned up. I got to get this guy's name here. But see, this needs more down here. But I'm pretty sure when I seen that the first time, I'm thinking it was Daniel. Because Daniel's the guy that's like Bezalbult or something like that. Or, no, that might be Satan's 3rd name. Like they got to have different names for Satan, like he's got titles or something. But that's the end of 6, and it doesn't look bad. It just a chunk of it's got missing there. So eight, Getting closer. 7. Okay. Then it came about in the 4th year for King Darius. Now, when it says it came about, I wouldn't be surprised if that's all not even there, any of it. Oh, the words came is. But I can't use the word it because it's going to be talking about the words of our Creator. Words. Okay, you see it. They're calling our Creator's words and it. Oops, not that one, that one. Then came I'm thinking of, could it be more captives come? Then came our captives. Words from Livy came to Zechariah. On the 4th of our ninth. Or ninth. Okay, so this seems to be a 3 verse as well. Then came doesn't seem to be right. Maybe it's this happened, and this happened in the 4th year. The words came to 9th would be. And it would be and we can get half that name this time around real quick. Don't need this. Bethel sent. This has to be and spake. But now it's turning into a 3 verse. And get rid of all this. Sent our men to seek. That hand by speaking. They must have assigned his priest now. The only thing is priest. By speaking to his priest. Who lived, not be long. We know what priests do, so this has to be who lived. By or wine. Okay, now that's sounding good, or that is at least. But into the prophets saying, this is just junk. There's nothing about fasting ever. Well, there is a mourning period when somebody dies close to you, that there is a mourning with a fasting that goes on for several days, but not a fasting to not eat for all these months or at a certain time of whatever. That's just not true. Got to remember, they had to go get their food and harvest and work and do these things. So when they're in these months, that looks like it's like well, 5th month might be even like the winter months. Anyways, but here, why do I have this? Oh, they're still fasting. No, nope, nope. It would be prophesied here. Reader doesn't proclaim, he commands or he prophesies a lot there. So just to understand what's going on there. Where the hell was I at? 7:1. I've done all this. Okay. For those in this video, Mike, got to cut all that stuff out when I'm redoing, and I'm going to start over from here just to get a recap of what I'm doing. I'm I got a 3-verse here. I made this a 3-verse. There's nothing really too difficult here, except for, okay, this is a 3-verse. I was thinking it was going to become a 4-verse, but when I had another 3-verse here, I had to get rid of something, so I got rid of these names. Now, then, being that this city I'm not sure about yet, sent their men to speak to the priest who lived by his house. Now, I know the story pretty well, and this here is, these might be the bad guys that were sent to speak to him and say, what are you doing? How come you're doing? So, but then this stuff here is just junk. You don't fast. You don't do any of those things. Like I said, if you fast and when you're mourning for the loss of someone, then there is this time that they don't really say how long this is, but it was a mourning with a fast, so it could be maybe 2-3 days. So, but the object was to mourn and show your sadness that they've ended their life and have moved on. Are not the words I'm going to use that. Are not these the words? Why be prophesied through his former prophets? Now that could mean several things. What the heck? Now that's just sticking out, because what the heck is this? Jerusalem was inhabited and prosperous, with the cities round about, and the Nineveh and the foothills were inhabited. What? 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 That's just not enough to that story. But might find words to match this. Now here he's asking more or less to be a judge, to dispense truth and justice. This has to be from. This has to be words. Because he said only one word. Boy, they understood a lot by that meaning. So, words from Wyvie. Came to Zechariah. saying and it can't be him speaking again, so I've got to bring up some words. It's not going to be saying, it's going to be commanding. And we have a name missing. Dispense. I can see judges judging judge a lot. So is it just meaning commanding this guy? My judge. My judge. Or their justice. That means he's now setting up how do I want to say this? He's setting up like a governance. Commanding this guy has as my judge for. I guess I don't need the word there. As my judge for justice. I don't need the word to. Not practice at all. Be my judge for justice. Period. Okay, now my video is okay. It took that long before that thing snapped back. Man, I'm telling you, sometimes, I'm seeing this is such a big delay now, it's not funny. So, as my judge for justice, with kindness and compassion, reach reach family. Has to be family, not just brother. Meaning, you are supposed to treat rich and poor alike. Or they are to, no, that isn't it. Do not oppress the widow or the orphan. They're not to have. I think that would be a very important word right now. Where's okay? Plan, plot, blank. They're not to plot. Plan, they're not to plan. Wickedness. their hearts. Against another. Okay. Are these not the words that Livy prophesied through his former prophets? And then down here, no, I need this guy's name here, and this is not connecting. So, if those two work together, then I've got here just small space. This is, and then these two group together, and then this has got to be down here. Now, see that there's those words that I was saying would show up sooner or later. I just went here and said, where is this? Right here. And now we're going to get those words down here. So I'm going to move. But then again, maybe I'm trying to figure out where these words go. Are not these the words Livy prophesied through his former prophets? And then it's here, and I'm replacing it with these words. And it's not so much this. It wouldn't be the word my here, it'd just be judge for justice and with kindness and compassion for each family. And then it goes on here. So that's what's going on here. This is out. This is in. Okay. That's what just happened there. Okay. And this is like him talking to the people as a guidance. Now, where are they at when they're supposed to come and rebuild? This seems to be there. It's turning into words that he's talking to a group here. And this is actually going to be a continuance of this. So, but they refused but they did not pay attention and turned to not stubborn, but rebellion. They did not pay attention, period. But they did not pay attention and turned to rebellion and stopped not hearing to them, period. That's pretty clear now. And turned to rebellion and stopped listening to them. I'm going to put great wrath, comma, period, came from wife. This is already being said. This was done already in the verses above. And I only need one. Listening to them. And don't need this because I can put the word nor here. Nor listen to him, nor his this has to be commandments. Nor his commandments. nor his commandments. But I have to add the word then down here. Then. Nor his commandments and words. His prophecies. They rejected Jesus coming to go on to their female goddess. Okay. This has already been said. Don't need to repeat any of that. And has scattered them and scatter them to be captives. Scattered the if I because this is captives is not working now that I've done that. I'm trying to figure out who he scattered. They wouldn't be just called the captives. The captives were the good people that he kept around, but he sent them into captivity because they hadn't gone completely away from him, but they weren't speaking up and doing what they were supposed to do. He scattered the righteous and scattered, I'm going to have to say good ones. Okay. This scattered are good ones. To be among now this would be among means yeah, I don't want to change the word among because like I said, they weren't slaves. And yet they were kind of like slave labor, but they had to they had a place to raise their family though. Um, But the more people they had up there, they would just assign them as farmers or whatever, and they became farmers of land and sold their produce, keepers of fruit trees, keepers, they were assigned to maintain the higher, wealthier people's lifestyle in Babylon, or when talking about Israel going into Assyria, same thing. They weren't slaves. That's why the word is captives all the time. To be among kingdoms. To become, to be among their, I guess it would be their kingdoms. Sometimes my little mind just gets stuck. Well, they did not know. Period. Thus our land. That gets a capital meaning the promised land. Was desolate behind them. Thus our land, period. Was desolate behind them. And not one came back. And that is the end of 7. And that is going to be it for the night when I get it all cleaned up here. Now, these are the 4-verse formats that didn't come up to anything, didn't have it there. I'd done them earlier. And now we're having, when they arrive, they're going to start getting the silver and gold together to rebuild. They've appointed now a high priest. Then they're going to have a commander ahead of them to rebuild the house. And then these guys together are going to be assigning the captives that come when it's going to be rebuilt. And this is the next part of the story. And let's see if I've actually got something that would continue. Oh, man. I got to go to here. Okay, see, something in there stopped it from doing what I wanted it to do. But this is going to be thrown out. This is out. So let me try it all again. Hey, okay, I got tricky. I gotta I gotta look at some of this. I can't remember which groups go to which groups right now. Okay, this group go together, so that needs a smaller 6-point space here. This needs two of them. This needs one. This needs two. Get rid of that. This needs one. This needs two. This needs one. This needs two. This needs one. Needs two. This needs one. Okay, now we have a good story here in all this. So it come out pretty good today. Then came in the 4th year for King Denarius, came in I was going to say our 4th year because they were under our Creator's um, calendar, which is the summer solstice on our 9th. Yes, so our has to be there. This I'm not agreeing with. No, that's right. Then this breaks apart. So I got two pieces. So, yep. Now that I got that far, yep. Are not these the words why we prophesied through his former prophets? If they're supposed to seek favor, these words might go if there's more to it. That they have been doing what they're supposed to do on the land, and are not these the words? And then it's them. It would be two groups out of here. And the place, I'm trying to think of the place uh, Jeremiah came from. I think he was a prophet from Judah, but where at in Judah? I don't know if they went to, because this would have been the greatest group there, would have gathered around the prophet for um, guidance. And then Zechariah is then the second prophet after him. I don't. Anyways, it would just be two groups missing here. And then them saying this. Yeah, I'm thinking this is going to be just a continuance. and then 2 spaces here. And then it would be a complete story here of them talking. This is their talking about what had happened. This might need to be changed here, because if these are the remnant that's talking to them, the remnant sent their men to seek. But this has to come in a different year. Can't be the 4th year. This has to be when they were first sent, that the remnant would have shown up. So I'm going to put remnant here. And then say I want to put it there. And then it has to be, I've got to make a note here by making it yellow. And this would be, I want yellow. And that way the story was going to be more assembled correctly. I mean, when you got people coming from captivity being sent down, and the prophet now knows they're coming, and they're supposed to meet them, and then he's supposed to tell them to assign this guy as the priest, and then who's going to set up the next order of people to assign the work. But this is all good. This is all good. This is really coming together as part of the return. And we were scattered. To be among our land. Well, you were scattered, and our captives were scattered. To be among their kingdoms. You, because they're still talking to them, whom you did not know. Thus in our land was desolated behind you. I'm not sure if I got the right order of that word. Thus our land was desolate behind you, and not one came back. And this is actually return. Returned. And now I'm hoping at more text of them. Yes, I'm thinking that's how that goes, now that it's all one. It's their story to them, what happened, and they too realized this here is what our Creator was wanting, and to pay attention to His commandments and prophecies. So that's what they were doing. They know why they were sent away. It's a good conversation that they're having here. Shit. Boy, I made a mess of this one, didn't I? I hate that when I don't look over. You see me going over so many times, and I was way back here. So there's got to be almost 40 minutes that I had it stuck there. Okay, when I'm re-editing this and I see all this, I believe I'm right here, and I got done saying the word planned would be here. This you can see as editing, that it's not really that bad to understand. They weren't stubborn, they rebelled, not hearing, but listened. They stopped listening to them to keep this going, the story going. I changed the word from law to commandments, and his prophecy was about Jesus. Got rid of these words because they were a double of what's going on. And I was just correcting this down below again for the second time. I was saying they were scattered are good ones, because they were the ones who were still supposed to be obedient when they were as captives among their kingdoms, not nations, but kingdoms, whom they did not know. Thus, in our land was desolate behind them. Okay, so it wasn't that bad. And then what I did was I grabbed the text, this text, and I came down here in, 7, and cleaned it up. Now, what I realized when I was going through here, that the time has to be different for this to be a conversation with those that really had come down. It's like the remnant had come to talk to the ones that are coming down. So that's why I'm saying the date has to be better, more in sync with what's above. And then I realized that I needed these to be added to complete the story. There's this conversation with those that just started coming down. And then at the end here, I realized that since that's the intent of the story, I needed to make all these changes. And I'm not really great with this right here, but I'm pretty much fine with it today. And because once I get the stories together, I know there's pieces going to go up in here, and this one's going to come down here, so it's going to get jumbled around. But the text will keep getting better and better by the way the order of the story is going to be told. I'm just going by memory and thinking, okay, well, if this is what happens at this time, these words have to be written this way. Whom you did not know. They're talking to them. That's the way this story is going. Okay. Sorry about that, but that's the cleanup, and I will have to clean it all up. Oh, well.